All right, today's topic is the worst car deal I've ever done. I've bought dozens at this point cars over the years, but there's definitely one deal that stands out as the worst. Welcome to GV Financial. I'm your host, GV Schneider. Okay, so the worst deal I ever did was actually a lease on a Honda S2000 sports car. It was a 2006 model, and I just got really wrapped up in this car. I had another car at the time. I think I had a black Volkswagen GTI hatchback, which was a perfectly decent car. But I just got enamored with the Honda S2000 and this real high revving engine, and of course it was a convertible, so that was kind of cool. So anyways, I became obsessed with the car and ultimately decided to go lease one. I think the deal I signed up for was roughly $400 a month with nothing down, which wasn't that horrible. It was a national lease program going on at the time. And it was a way for me to get into the car, and I was working and I was able to keep my other car, which was paid for. But here's the thing that kind of made it end up not being a great deal. I had two cars. I was driving my motorcycle to work at the time, and I would come home at night and I would see these two cars sitting in my driveway depreciating. I wasn't driving the S2000 that much. It was not a very practical car. If it's your only car, it's very cramped, small trunk space. And so I just didn't use it all that much, in spite of it being a really cool, fun, and really sporty driving car. And ultimately, it was not that fast of a car. So I really liked how sporty it was, but in reality, it just, for a street car, it's actually not that fast. It doesn't have a ton of torque. All the power was at the top end. And so as I started getting into more kind of street, sporty, fast cars, I ended up getting into the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolutions. And once I drove one of those, I was like blown away by the acceleration. I mean, it was so much faster than my S2000. They were crappy kind of cars, but fast, and that was what I was really into. So looping this back to why was this a bad deal? Well, I leased the car, and I think I got rid of it after 10 months. And so I purchased an Evo 9, and I had to dump the S2000 as part of that deal, which involved getting the payoff for the S2000. So I took a pretty bad beating on the S2000, which I was willing to do because I was then so obsessed with the Evo 9. And so I think when I crunched the numbers, I had driven the S2000 something like 7,000 miles, and it probably cost me somewhere around $8,000 or $9,000 to do that 7,000 miles. So it was an expensive, kind of mistake, and ultimately, what makes this sting even more is that S2000s have really held their value well over time. So if I had had the patience to hang on to the thing, or purchased it at the end of the lease, in reality, it could have been a very good car to keep, long term. So I failed on executing the lease. I failed on holding on to a car that has become a collector's item, and that's what makes it probably the worst car deal I ever did. Questions or comments, please leave them below, and let me know what the worst car deal you ever did was and why. Thanks for watching. Bye.